Hey friends, welcome back. Jason Kryzak, co-founder of Radiant Family here again, and today I just wanted to do a little reference and demo of the RAD2000. So Orgone Generator, one of the more middle-of-the-line generators, and I've been doing some videos on the RAD5, more of that like that higher-end Cadillac, flagship of orgonegenerator.com. But in this case, I wanted to just really talk about, and I've discussed this in certain videos regarding what we've discovered about what we're calling the middle-of-the-line generators, like the RAD2000. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this on. We've got a little power switch in the back. And if you're at all sensitive, you might feel a shift in the field, maybe not. It really doesn't matter, but go ahead and do this. So once again, really sturdy craftsmanship. So one thing that I like about this is in the office. So when I'm doing body work, when I'm doing Reiki treatments, this is a really great adjunct to be able to use literally as like a handheld unit where I can move across the whole spine. I can move over the whole body and really work in the biofield of the body. Just putting that chi energy out. Once again, just reinforce it's not there to heal anyone or to diagnose or treat, but rather it's putting the essence of life back into that vitality back into the field. So regarding this unit and how I generally contrast it from the heavier duty units like the RAD5 is that the RAD2000, we've noticed, has a much more, it's like a very focused, sharp field. So the field is really intense around the RAD2000. Whereas what we've seen with like the RAD5 is it's got this it's like an umbrella. It's a massive field that's more working within an entire whole atmosphere. It's literally creating an entire atmosphere, but it's not quite as sharp. It's more of this huge field that gets created. Now, when it comes down to people who are body workers, people who are light workers, are you wanting to use these for specific applications? Like if a person has, seems like their biofield is weak, then to be able to direct that orgone field directly into the biofield, it's, as you can see, it's really light, and it's got a good amount of that superorgonite inside of the casing here. So to be able to actually use it, quite effortless, really effortless. So once again, we're getting down to the basics: stick pad, and then the Radionics plate here. And for those of you who are just tuning in, the word Radionics just means action at a distance. So action meaning if I'm focusing on something that is a trend, which would be a desired outcome of say I'm working with people in a holistic sense, and my outcome is better well-being, better general health. Okay, so we would be placing the trend, which would be a written statement. It could be a written statement of compassion or wholeness for your clients, for your yoga class, whatever you're actually focusing on. And then perhaps a picture in the case of general work with clients, or general work with like a yoga class or something like that, or a qigong class. You might actually want to take a digital photo of your space, the space that you're working or the space that you're giving treatments, and then that photo becomes the target. So anything in that photo is going to be especially focused on. Then that with the trend. And then the stick pad is just one way, like a pendulum, where we're using the frequency dials here to basically we're dialing in radionics frequencies. So it's a way of linking the trend to the target. And the target would be whatever you're wanting to affect a change with, which might be your yoga class, it might be your qigong or your class or your clients. Whatever that might be. And then, of course, right here we've got the frequency, the pulse rate dial. So this basically, and I'll show you here. So we've got say we have the trend here, which is the written statement with the picture, whatever the target is. And once again, I'll remind you that every photograph, it's putting out patterns of biophotons. So biophotons are, or patterns of light. Every surrounding and every living thing basically puts out patterns of light, and that's its signature. So if it's in a state of dis-ease or it's not well, those patterns of light will be very specific to something that's in homeostasis, something that is in a really, really good space, you know. And we can almost intuitively, we can feel this, because we can see when we come into a room, there's a certain vibe to every environment, and there can also be a vibe to every person we come around. You know, we could say, so I felt a good vibe, or I felt a sick vibe, or a bad vibe, you know. And that would be our own internal chronometer that can pick up those patterns of biophotons that are coming out. In this case, every photograph is putting out patterns of biophotons. And then that is going right into the radionics plate here. We're setting the frequencies, basically. So we have the frequency dial, and we basically focus in on whatever the target and trend is, and we start to gently skim the finger over the stick pad here. Now, it's not that the stick pad itself is doing anything. It's a way to work with the internal chronometer, just like with a pendulum. The pendulum itself isn't what's affecting the change. It's not moving itself. It's a way of determining the fine vibrations and the intuition internally, because we all are extremely sensitive devices that can pick up, receive information, and put information out. So basically, we would have this at 0. I've got it actually set to something, so I'm not going to do it right now. But basically, if I had this at 0, and then I'm going to be pretty much moving my finger in a very, very light fashion over the surface, and then as I'm moving the dial, I'm just feeling internally, focusing on the target, and then finally it'll reach a point where there'll actually be, not because I'm putting more pressure, but because for some reason the finger just feels like it's getting heavier. And it takes a little bit of practice, and then that's what we call the stick pad. So it's moving into that point where it sort of sticks, and there's your first frequency. Then you do it with the next knob and the next. And once you have a set of 3, it's basically you've got your radionics rate. So you've got the set of radionics structural links. It's linking the target and the trend to one another. And then that is basically, again, action at a distance, is taking the intention of that trend and moving it right to the target. And of course, you know, just like with anything, and if you listen to my Law of Attraction series, you know, when it comes down to this, we're also really using our internal compass as to feel out a situation, especially for focusing on a particular individual. If we feel anything pushing back against that, or if we feel a no to that, it's really important to honor that and to really keep in a clean space with it. And it's always like obtaining permission. It's always important on that level of wholeness for ourselves to make sure that we're really attaining the right kind of permission at all time when we're working in relationship to someone. If someone's coming to you as a client, it's not so necessary, because they're looking for wholeness, they're looking for integration, and that's the kind of trend that you're going to be setting. That's the kind of trends I set in the office. And then so it can either just sit in the office, stand alone, where it's really kind of doing the work, holding the space in the background, or like I said before, literally picking the device up, as I've done quite a few times, and then just working directly over a person's field. And I've gotten a lot of feedback. We've gotten a lot of feedback about this regarding how people have felt different. Not people that believed I was supposed to be doing something with some fantastic device, but people who came in totally cold. They didn't know anything about it, worked with somebody or a number of people, and they gave feedback. A lot of people We even have a testimonial that's on orgonegenerator.com. One of our patients gave a testimonial, so you can check that out too. But basically, the feedback we're getting is that of integration, feeling that the space is being held, and people, I've noticed too, excuse me, people who actually don't say anything afterwards. They're happy with the session and then they leave. I can also feel a difference with the way that they're behaving, the way that they're moving. So I just wanted to share that today. To share a little bit more about this profound technology in relationship to how it can be used with just one more facet of your daily work, of your daily life, whether it's at home or at the office. Really versatile, really profoundly versatile devices, So go to orgonegenerator.com, check it out, read up on it. You could always field questions to Nick. He's really good at, putting things technically into a nutshell, helping you understand. And just much happiness to you, many blessings and peace.